Hello, teacher and classmates. This is my submission for the language testing homework. Identify the language assessment principles that an assessment instrument applies. The task is to analyze the 5 principles of language assessment: reliability, practicality, validity, authenticity, and watchback. Decide if the assessment provided for analysis applies any of the principles of language assessment, and use the information to record a 5 to 8 minute video that answers the questions above. In order to do that, I am going to read the situation, and after I'm going to present each one of the principles and say if indeed the situation complies with the principle or not. Yeah, the situation is the following. A high school biology teacher frequently reads out loud a prepared biology related statement. Then he asks the students to hold their hands under their chins and signify whether the statement is true or false by showing a thumbs up for true or thumbs down for false. At the end of the video, I will give you a fun fact about the thumbs up and thumbs down approach. Depending on the number of students who responding correctly, the teacher might have students present arguments for both sides. He may pair students and ask them to discuss the concept further. Or he might decide that he needs to present the same concept using a different representation or instructional approach. So first, I'm going to present the principles, and after I'm going to say if the example, if the situation actually fulfills the criteria to say that it's applying any of the principles. So first, practicality. Practicality refers to evaluating the assessment according to cost, time needed, and usefulness. This principle is important for classroom teachers. Brown and Wickrawa, I'm not sure if I am pronouncing this correctly, 2010, have explained the attributes of practical tests as follows. First, the cost of the test is not too expensive and stays within budgetary limits. So it's basically very cheap or free. Can be completed by the test taker within appropriate time constraints, has clear directions for administration, appropriately utilizes available human resources, does not exceed available material resources, and considers the time and effort involved for both design and scoring. So from my point of view, this activity indeed fulfills the principle of practicality because it's basically for free. We can use the human resources we have that are our students. The directions are clear, in my opinion, and neither the time or the material are overly consumed. So I think it's a great example of the principle of practicality. Next one is reliability. Reliability in language testing means that the assessment is consistent and dependable, which means that the same score will be achieved from the same type of students no matter when it is scored or who scores it. A reliable test is consistent and in its conditions across 2 or more administrations, gives clear directions for scoring and evaluation, has uniform rubrics for scoring and evaluation, lends itself to consistent application of those rubrics by the scorer, and contains items and tasks that are unambiguous to the test taker. To make the test reliable, especially for subjective and open-ended assessments, it is important to write scoring procedures clearly and to train teachers to be able to score the assessment correctly. I am undecided about this principle because actually it's these kind of activities give formative assessment, not summative assessment. So I think it's a great activity that can be evaluated in a number of different things, but I don't think it could be reliable because it depends a lot on the evaluator and the perspective of the evaluator. Excuse me. Then I don't think it fulfills the principle of reliability. Although I can be mistaken and the evaluators can be trained to do this, I believe that the subjective part of it is too great to be reliable. About the third principle of validity, validity has been explained by Brown and Abe Wikrama as follows. A valid test measures exactly what it proposes to measure, does not measure irrelevant or contaminated variables, relies as much as possible on empirical evidence, performance, involves performance that samples the test criterion, is objective, offers useful, meaningful information about the test taker ability, is supported by theoretical rationale or argument. If the assessment is supposed to measure students' speaking skill, for example, it should be designed to assess only speaking. Again, like in the previous example, I don't think this activity will give an assessment that is valid because of the great qualitative component that it has. So yeah, I don't think it has this component. The next one is authenticity, which is defined as the degree of correspondence of the characteristics of a given language task to the features of a target language task. An authentic test has the following attributes. First, contains language that is as natural as possible, has items that are contextualized rather than isolated, includes meaningfully relevant, interesting topics, provides some thematic organization to items, such as through a storyline or episode, offers tasks that replace real-world tasks. I think the activity is authentic. I think it depends also on how interesting the topic is. I think this depends a lot of the organization after the events described in the example. So we don't know what happens later. We don't know what the topic is and how the teacher is organizing the activities later. So from my point of view, although I could consider this activity as authentic, I think to give a verdict, we need more information about it. I cannot say if this test is 100% authentic because it doesn't fulfill like all the criteria that is placed by the theory. So my answer for this one is neutral. I'm not sure, I need more information. Finally, Washback. For the authors previously referred, it refers to the effects that the tests have on the instruction in terms of how students prepare for the test. Linville 2011 refers to the outcomes for the learner, the teacher, and the teaching context. Washback can be positive or negative, thus the concept of washback should comprise of the following features. First, a test that provides beneficial washback, positively influences what and how teachers teach, positively influences what and how the learners learn, offers learners a chance to adequately prepare, gives learners feedback that enhances their language development, is more formative in nature than summative, and provides conditions for peak performance by the learner. So in my opinion, the example given by the teacher actually fulfills this principle. I think it's more formative than summative in nature. It gives these conditions for peak performance by the learner when the students have the opportunity to discuss their opinions afterwards. It's quite interesting for them to make their own voices be heard. And as a teacher, I believe that this is one of the most important things, to just actually to be able to hear the students' voices. These are the references. And thank you very much. And before I leave, I wanted to tell you the fun fact I mentioned at the beginning. The thumbs up, thumbs down type of voting system actually was initiated in Rome when there was this the empire, the Roman Empire was alive and well. So, but interestingly enough, we don't know actually if we understand it well, because thumbs up, we believe it means something good. Well, thumbs up, we believe it's something bad. But some historians think that thumbs down meant that the emperor asked one of the soldiers to put the sword down and not to kill the person or the gladiator that was combating that day. So we actually don't know. The funny thing is that we believe it's something good, but actually it could be to kill a gladiator. So that will remain in mystery, because unfortunately there are not factual historic accounts of that. So we don't know, and we might never know. So that was my fun fact for this class. Thank you very much for listening to this. And although I might not get a grade for this homework, I really would like to know your opinion about what I thought about the principles. Thank you very much for your time and for listening to this video.